The city of Newport's purchase of those brassy properties on Monmouth is being billed as generational change. Moving on to Jack's Big Bite. That is where we focus on one particular story that's happening in our community, a community we believe in with our partners at First State Bank. Stop into one of their local branches or visit online at fsb4me.com to access all the helpful tools and services at First State Bank, built on belief and committed to doing right by our communities. For today's Big Bite presented by First State Bank, this is a show about all the different forms of business happening in this region, and that can involve trying to cover a lot of ground. Certainly, Cincinnati's urban core gets a big bulk of the attention, as does Over the Rhine. Blue ash has been making headlines for months now, but today our focus is going back to northern Kentucky, where the city of Newport announced just a week ago that it was planning on buying the full block of properties along Monmouth Street south of 6th for nearly $4 million. A block right on the main drag of the city, which includes businesses like Huddle's Cafe, the Brass Bull, and the Brass Ass Strip Club. Real quick aside on that. Can we hit this?
You recognize them? Is this how you get your kicks? It's all fun and games with you, isn't it? Don't you have anything to say for yourself?
The Brass Ass Casino. Kick things up a notch.
How can you be so stubborn?
Did you know that there's a Brass Ass Casino in Colorado? Things you learn online when you're writing a TV show. We've got Newport City Manager John Hayden coming on the show today to talk about those plans for Monmouth Street and other economic development plans that Newport has going on. I think this is a really interesting turning point for that city because those properties really do kind of mark the final parts of Newport, Kentucky's, let's say, seedier past, when famous bootlegger George Remus had his thing going on. The roots of Newport's Sin City moniker really go back to the 1800s and the U.S. Army barracks that were built there. But when Prohibition started in the 20s, that's when all the vice got organized. You got guys with the things and the guys with the other guys and the booze and the dames, and you get the picture. Stories of members of the Rat Pack gambling with mobsters and alleged mobsters, and house parties with Marilyn Monroe and more are all around Newport up until really the 60s. It was the pre-Vegas Vegas. Look up Juanita Hodges if you want a real wild story sometime. By the late 70s, it was less about the mob and gambling and more about strip clubs and X-rated movies. But people who lived there started campaigning against all that in the 80s. Reporters who were there at the time have described it as a really grassroots effort to get that out. Those efforts ultimately led to things there like Glenn Schmidt's Playtorium with its bowling alley and restaurant and cocktail lounge upstairs and casino downstairs, ultimately turning into the Newport Syndicate event venue for wedding receptions and high school proms, which in turn gave way to things like Newport on the Levee, ultimately making that city more of a family destination with things like shopping and movies and aquariums. Nice, right? Newport on the Levee has been in flux the last few years, although it is still operating. North American Properties bought Newport on the Levee in 2018 with an announcement of plans to invest $100 million to remake it into a new destination spot in the area. But after that, 2 years ago, that company sold it to a Georgia-based company called Jamestown that is also known for transforming developments. We have not had any word yet if Jamestown has different plans. Not far from the levee is where Urban Sites is planning a $36 million mixed-use development on the former World Peace Bell site at 4th and Monmouth. That's right by Mad Mike's Burgers. Multiple residential stories part of the plan, with more than 100 apartments on top of 2 stories of retail or office space. It is specifically designed to connect the Newport on the Levee area with the business area a few blocks south along Monmouth. When it comes to other living options in Newport, there is this. So this is drone footage. Boy, drone footage has just really changed commercial retail. This is footage of Aqua on the levee, which was put up for sale last month. That $80 million complex with more than 200 luxury apartments opened nearly a decade ago. It is being listed on CBRE with a call for offers coming up August 5th, meaning that's when all interested buyers need to submit their best offer. Also have a different kind of riverfront complex coming soon. That's a look at what PLK is trying to develop, turning the former Newport Steel 17-acre site along the Licking River into the Christopher Apartments. 2- and 3-bedroom townhomes on a site that's been undergoing remediation since last year, although the Business Courier says it has been given the green light now by the U.S. EPA. Newport City Commissioners in the month of May agreed to $100 million in bonds for that project. One more recent project that we should mention, there was groundbreaking just last week for James Taylor Park along Riverboat Row for the Ohio River. This $7.5 million park project is part of the Riverwalk District through much of Kentucky's North Shore all along the Ohio River, affecting multiple cities. Ultimately set to be a continuous 20-mile river walk available for people. This is Northern Kentucky's version of how they're looking to develop the front porch of the area, like what Cincinnati and Hamilton County have done with the banks on the Ohio side. The city of Newport's purchase of those brassy properties on Monmouth is being billed as generational change.